So welcome everyone. This is the third out of a series of 3 classes on mudra and its use in meditation by Ram Baklanka. Ramji, as you might have guessed from the first 2 classes, very knowledgeable about this area, and we welcome him back for the third and final class. Thank you very much indeed, Ramji. Over to you.
Thank you, Ramji, for the kind words. Welcome, everyone. Let's begin with the opening chat. So please sit straight wherever you are. Bring your palms together near the heart. Gently close your eyes if you haven't already. Please repeat after me. Om. Om. Sahana vavatu. Sahanau bhunaktu. Sahaviryam karavavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Relax your hands, open your eyes. Once again, welcome to all of you to this session. Today is our third and final session. So let me quickly recapitulate. In the first session, we learned quite a bit about the mudras, different kinds of mudras, and the different parts of the body, limbs of the body with which we can perform the mudras. 2 different ways of practicing mudras. One is mudras alone, which is called Pratyaksha Mudra. The other one is Paroksha Mudra, where you combine mudras with some other spiritual practice, such as yoga postures or mantra meditation and so on. Okay, so we got a solid foundation there into what mudras are and different kinds of mudras. We also learned about the warm-ups that we have to do, that are advised to do, so that we can do a little bit more advanced mudras more easily, especially for people who have any kind of joint related issues. The warm-ups are a must. Okay. Then second week, last session, we learned about some energy related mudras. First, we began with the 5 elemental energies. We understood what 5 elemental energies are and how those energies are manifest within the different building blocks of our own body. Okay. And then we learned the mudras so that we can balance the energies of the 5 elements and also experience the health and well-being that results within different elements of our body, such as the bones or the teeth, internal organs, and so on and so forth. And we also learned what are called prana mudras. Okay? Prana mudras are basically about mastering the pranic energy that we have. Prana, once again, is the life energy that we all have. In a manner of speech, pranic energy is the difference between a living being and a non-living being. Okay, so we said that pranic energy, once it enters into our system, is looked at in 10 different forms. Okay, 5 are called pancha pranas. These are primary functional division of the pranic energy. Then there is 5 secondary divisions of energy. So the first important elements of the prana are prana, apana, samana, udana, and dhyana. For these 5 there is mudras available in the ancient texts, and I shared them with you. The other 5 are called Naga, Kurma, Krukara, Devadatta, Dhananjaya. They also control some important biochemical functions in our system. So, for example, Naga is what causes us hunger and thirst. Okay. Similarly, Kurma is in our eyes, causes our eyelids to bat like this. So, like this, there is different functional functions that are allotted and assigned to each one of the 5 secondary pranas. Haven't found any mudras for them, so I haven't taught you those mudras. But the mudras for the 5 pranic energies, that should be enough for us. Once again, all these mudras have energetic impact on us, positive energetic impact, and thereby indirectly they kind of benefit us. They contribute to our health and well-being. And in session 1, as I discussed, I promised that I will share some meditation mudras, okay, and I will also give some purely healing and therapeutic mudras for different ailments. Okay, so those are the 2 categories of mudras that I'm going to cover today. So approximately we have around 16 mudras, 8 meditation mudras, and 8 healing and therapeutic mudras. Okay, those we'll see how it goes, but I'll do my best to cover all the 16 mudras. So first session we learned all the warm-ups. Second session we learned around 10 mudras. Now we are going to learn another 16 mudras, hopefully. So that should give you pretty good. And I will also share with you how to build a daily practice of mudras, how to build a sequence so you can practice mudras in a meditative posture. Obviously, just like with any other spiritual practice, the benefits of practicing mudras are cumulative, meaning it's not like you do them once in a while, but rather it should be a matter of consistent practice. When you consistently practice, then you become more and more aware of the energetic movement within your system, first of all. And also, then next stage will be how to regulate that energy movement through the use of prana, so the mudras and pranayama, etc. Okay, so that is the broad agenda for the entire workshop. Any questions so far? Everybody good? All right. Okay, so again, I hope you had a chance to look at the notes, and hopefully it is proving to be very useful to you, because in some cases I've given you contraindications, how long to practice, how to get into the mudra. I've even enclosed a picture of myself doing those mudras, so that way you have comprehensive information even after this workshop is over. Also, how to practice those mudras. Not sure if you have my contacts, etc., but maybe Ramji will share all of those later. If you have any questions about the mudras, feel free to contact me too. Okay, I'm also available as one of the friends of Ramji on social media, so you can connect with me on social media also, where I share a lot of this kind of information, not only about mudras, but about many other things also. Okay. All right, so let's do a quick warm up, and then we'll get into the meditation mudras first, and then we'll go into the therapeutic mudras. Okay, everybody ready? So we start with the webs of the fingers first. Okay. I'm just going to take you quickly through them. Okay, we won't spend too much time. You already know these things. I'm going to hold my palms like this so you can see. You don't need to do it that way. Now, thumb to thumb, index, middle, ring, okay, pinky. Now left to right, pinky, ring, middle, index, and thumb. Do a little bit of wrist. Okay. Let's do a little bit of wrist rotation also. Just for a warm up. Left hand on right hand. Again, a little bit of wrist rotation. Once again, remember basic guidelines. Whenever you are practicing mudras, make sure your facial muscles, shoulder muscles, in fact, all joints should be very, very relaxed. And especially don't frown or do any kind of stress-inducing movements like that. Okay. So first mudra, very, very simple meditation mudra. Most of you might know this. This is called Bhairava mudra. So the mudra is hold the left palm, okay, and then place the right palm on top. Some people practice this with the tips of the thumb touching, but I generally don't touch the tips of the thumbs. I leave the thumbs like this. Okay, the tips are not necessarily touching, but if you like to, go ahead. Okay. Now you can place this in your lap. Again, these mudras are more and more introspective and meditative, unlike the energy mudras that we have seen earlier, which means you should focus on the energy movements that are happening within you. Especially this mudra, it accentuates the masculine energy within us. In the Tantra, they teach us about the masculine and feminine energies, both of them being present in everybody. This has got nothing to do with one's gender. Okay, men, women, everybody has both masculine and feminine energies within them. This mudra accentuates the masculine energy. It also enhances the communication between both the hemispheres of the brain. That is another great advantage of this mudra. So this is called Bhairava mudra. So gently close your eyes. It's a good idea to combine this mudra with meditation on the root chakra. It's not mandatory, but it's a good idea. So let me guide you in meditation on the root chakra. Gently bring your awareness to the base of the spine, the perineum region. Visualize the Mooladhara or root chakra as a lotus flower in red color, consisting of 4 petals here. Now visualize each of the 4 petals gently vibrating, very, very subtly. And repeat the mantras after me, silently. Vam. Sham. Sham. Sam. Continue to visualize the root chakra as a lotus flower in red color consisting of 4 petals. Now let's switch the palms so that the right palm is underneath, supporting the left palm on top. This is known as Bhairavi mudra, and it accentuates the cosmic feminine energy within us. Continue to visualize the root chakra as a red color lotus flower consisting of 4 petals. just by switching the arms, some of you might have noticed how the energy changes. Oh, you may gently open your eyes. These mudras being meditation mudras, you can do them for any length of time. As long as you are comfortable meditating, you can hold these mudras. Unlike the prana, apana mudras, which I shared with you in the last session. Next one, again, as students of Ram and students of Vedanta, you are all probably familiar with this. This is known as Chin Mudra or Jnana Mudra. Okay, so simply hold your arm up like this and gently connect the tips of your thumb and the index finger. Okay. Same thing with both hands. Okay. So in the energy tradition or tantric tradition, we consider this as Vayu Mudra, energy of air element. Okay. But in the Vedantic tradition, we consider this as Chin Mudra or Jnana Mudra. You probably know the explanation for this. These three fingers represent the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. This is the universal consciousness. This is the individual consciousness. So the message in this is that the individual consciousness should transcend the three gunas, separate itself from the three gunas, and be united with the universal consciousness. That is the message, the profound message behind this mudra. Let's place them over the knees, palms facing up. Let's do pranava japa with this mudra, meaning chanting of Om. Okay. And we can also do Vedanta Vakyas. There are 108 beautiful, sublime declarations or assertions, positive assertions from the Vedantic portion of the Vedic literature. Aham Brahmasmi, Ayam Atma Brahma, Tattvamasi, and so on. These are all dispersed throughout the Upanishadic literature. There is 108 of these. These are called 108 Mahavakyas. Okay? So while sitting in this posture, chanting those 108 Mahavakyas can be a very, very beneficial and uplifting spiritual practice. Anyway, let's try a few of them. I'm going to chant them aloud. You chant them silently in a call and response fashion. We start with Om and then maybe do a few of the Vedantic declarations. Om. Om. Now let's do the Mahavakyas. Continue to repeat after me silently. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Second one. Tattvamasi. You are the Brahman. Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi. Next one. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. All this is indeed Brahman. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Next one. Ayam Atma Brahma. Ayam Atma Brahma. Ayam Atma Brahma. Om. Gently open your eyes. As I said, there are 108 such Mahavakyas in the Upanishadic literature. Please learn as many as you can, especially in Sanskrit language, and understand them and practice with this mudra. That is a very, very beneficial practice. Now let us learn what is known as Shunya Mudra. Shunya means void in English language. Vedic literature presents two versions of the divine, the universal consciousness. Two versions or two ways of experiencing the divine. One is we can experience the divine as Purna. Purna means something that is perfect, something that is all encompassing, something that is full and integrated, whole, WHOLE, whole. All of this is indicated by the word Purna, meaning the divine is everything. That is how you can experience the divine. Alternatively, you can also experience the divine as nothing. This is called Shunya. So Purna, Shunya. Purna means you experience the divine as everything. Shunya means you experience the divine as nothing. Okay? Both of these are advocated by the Vedic philosophy, Vedic literature, Sanatana Dharma, what people mistakenly these days call as Hinduism. So whatever it is. Buddhism, on the other hand, focuses more on Shunya, okay? The divine as nothing. Strictly speaking, Buddha never taught about any divine or God, etc. But that is the implication that there is Shunya. Shunya means nothingness. So either everythingness or nothingness. In the Veda, generally, even though both of them are advocated, the focus is more on Purna. Purnamadaha, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vasishyate. This is the Vedic chant that explains that Purnamadaha, what is out there is full or whole or perfect. What is in here is also perfect or infinite. Okay, so what is out there is infinite, what is in here is infinite. Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vasishyate. From the infinite, only the infinite can be born. Similarly, if you take the infinite out of the infinite, what remains is not zero, but also infinite. Okay, so there's a lot of mathematics also behind this. We won't go into all of that. But this mudra is about experiencing the divine as Shunya, the inner silence, the inner void. Okay, let me show you the mudra. Please let me see everybody's palm. So with the middle fingers, bring them to the base of the thumbs. Okay, to the base of the thumbs. Okay. Now place the thumb gently on the middle finger. So make sure that your thumb is touching. Hope you can see. So the base of the middle finger is, the tip of the middle finger is touching the base of the thumb, and the thumb is resting on top of the middle finger. This is the mudra. And if you can, please try and straighten the rest of the fingers. This also will help from an Ayurvedic viewpoint in terms of balancing the Vata energy. But let's use this more as a meditative mudra for now. Okay, so place them over your knees. We will just have a quick silent meditation with the Shunya Mudra. Gently open your eyes. Okay. Next one is known as Bhramara Mudra. This is also very useful in meditation practice. It's a little bit of an involved mudra. Let me show you. So can I see everybody's palm? So with the index finger, you touch the base of the thumbs. So fold your index finger, touch the base of the thumb. Now gently bring down, fold the middle fingers also, and with the side of the thumb, touch the side of the middle finger. Okay, once again, index finger at the base of the thumb, then thumbs touching the sides of the middle finger. Rest of the two fingers, if you can straighten them, that will be great. With this, we are going to do, for those of you who do Bhramari Pranayama, they may be able to do this more relatively easily. We are going to hold this mudra and then close our eyes, and we are going to make a high-pitched kind of sound. This sound always works on your crown chakra. Okay? And it leaves all the elemental energies alone. It is not meant for balancing any of the elemental energies. It doesn't touch any of them. It is more about activating your Sahasrara, your crown chakra. Okay? Gently close your eyes. Everybody at your own pace, make a high-pitched kind of noise. Maybe you can hear me through that. And this you need to make aloud, not silently. So make sure that your microphones are all muted. They are. Continue to chant at your own pace. Om. Gently open your eyes. Next mudra we are going to do is known as Kaleshwara mudra. Kala means time in Sanskrit language. Kalayati iti kalaha. That which is measured is time. Okay? So all our memories, all our life is nothing but a drama played on an arena called space in time. Okay, so our life is nothing but a drama played on a stage called space in time. So time holds lot of memories, etc., including negative thoughts, attachments to past, and all kinds of stuff. So this mudra helps us in terms of transcending time. What does that mean? Generally, we understand time only as the gap between two events, right? So when I say one word and there is a little bit of time, I say another word. Similarly, the time is between, okay, you attending this workshop and then maybe after that having a, I don't know, lunch break or something. So we understand time as a series of events, but actually that is not quite so. Okay, time is also always one flow. Many people don't realize this about time. Okay, time is just like one flow if you understand it deeply. But human mind makes it look like there is a past, present, and future. This is a very important thing to understand. If let us say there is a brook, there is a flow of water. If you take a little stick and stick it into the water, suddenly the water is now divided. Some water goes this side of the stick, some water goes this side of the stick. So so water is divided. Similarly, human mind divides the time into infinite past and infinite future. And only in human mind, time goes in opposite directions like this. Past is going one way, future is going another way. And there's a very tiny little, very, very elusive and elusive, what is called present between these two flows of time. One is towards the past, one is towards the present, one is towards the future. In animals, birds, this kind of a division doesn't exist. They always live in the moment. Whereas in human beings, there is always a past, present, and future, and all the concerns, pains, memories, insecurities, fears, all of these are past. So this mudra is about transcending all of these things. Okay, it's a little bit involved mudra. Let me show you. So bring the palms together. Now turn them down. Sorry, because I'm showing you at shoulder level. I'm not able to do this properly, but you can do that. Okay, make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Don't hold the shoulders like this. Relax them. Again, I'm holding them at camera level. That's why I'm showing like this. But if I were to comfortably hold, it will be like this. Okay. Everybody good so far? Okay. Now, what you do, you leave the middle fingers stretched and touching like that. But try and fold the rest of the three fingers. In fact, all the four fingers towards your thumbs. Okay. So pinky, ring, index, thumb, they all come together and only the middle finger is extended like this. Again, I'm holding it almost horizontally for the camera, but it should be completely going down, pointing downwards. Okay. Now hold it as comfortably at heart level as you can. Some people may not be able to bring them up. Some people may be able to bring them only to stomach. Wherever you are comfortable, bring them like that. And if you need to spread your elbows a little bit in order to make this possible, that's okay. It is okay to spread elbows like this rather than do like this. Don't do this. It's okay to spread the elbows as much as necessary. Okay. So keep it as close to the heart region as you can comfortably. Gently close your eyes once again. Repeat Om after me silently. Om. 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 Open your eyes, relax them. Another mudra, kind of similar, shares some similarities. Here, we are going to interlock the fingers of both the palms. Okay, not inside, outside. Okay, now this time, hold the, let me show near the camera, hold the palms facing up. Last mudra we did downwards, now upwards. Okay, now bring out only the middle fingers and let them touch from the bottom to the top as much as possible. Okay, don't separate them, don't maintain any gap between them. As much as possible, bring them closer and hold the rest of the fingers together. This also stays at your heart level. This is known as Matangi Mudra. This is very, very beneficial for people who are trying to practice arts, musicians, painters, writers, okay, and clears the blockages in throat chakra, facilitates self-expression. Matangi is the tantric equivalent of goddess Saraswati in the Vedic tradition. Okay, so we are going to repeat the mantra of goddess Saraswati or Matangi. Gently close your eyes. Relax your hands, gently open your eyes. Let's look at one more meditation mudra before we go on to therapeutic mudras. Okay. Here, once again, bring the palms together, both the palms. Okay. Now, slightly separate the palm area, but keep the fingertips connected, all the 5 fingertips connected. Okay. Just to separate the palm area. Everybody good? Very simple mudra. This is known as Hakini mudra. This is also very good mudra for combining both the hemispheres of the brain and improve one's intuitive abilities and gifts. Okay? So we close the eyes with this mudra, but look at the third eye chakra. Jude, you can bring the hands a little bit down closer to the heart chakra. Yeah. I cannot see everybody's mudra. Matthew, I'm not sure. I cannot figure out. Matthew's, yeah. So it can be near your heart. So you can look at me. Hopefully you can see the positioning of my mudra. Rupanji, you can also bring closer to the heart. I cannot see other people's mudras. Okay, so gently close your eyes. With closed eyes, fix your gaze upon the third eye chakra. You can even visualize the third eye chakra as a lotus flower consisting of 2 petals in indigo color. Repeat after me silently. Om. Om. Relax your hands, open your eyes. Matthew, you don't need to spread the elbows like this in this mudra. Light, very light. Okay, now palm should not touch. Palm area should not touch. There is no need to spread the shoulders like that. See, my shoulders are very close to my trunk. Right? Yeah. And relax. Keep this near your heart. Yeah. There you go. That's it. It's like saying namaste, but just with the palms separate. Okay. So I think those are the 8 meditation mudras that we have seen today. Let's do some therapeutic mudras. So strictly speaking, there is no mantras associated to the next 8 mudras that I'm going to show you. Okay. Instead, we can meditate on some yantras. Yantras means specific geometric shapes, or alternatively, we can bring awareness to the region of the body, the section of the body where the limbs on which this mudra is going to have beneficial impact are situated or located. So I'm going to guide you through these mudras as well as the awareness related aspects of the meditation. Okay. We'll try and wrap up at least 10 minutes before the scheduled time. So if you have any questions, you have time to ask them. First therapeutic mudra that we will do is called Jalodhara Nashaka Mudra. I know it's a long name. This is basically a mudra very, very effective in the case of those who retain excessive water. Okay? This happens mostly in modern times because most of the time we are at work and we are either seated or standing in front of a computer, right? So we are not much active. So the body tends to retain a lot of water. Sometimes it may even lead to swelling of the feet. This happens to many people I know when they fly. If you fly long distances, like across the oceans, then also because you are seated in the air in the flight for long periods of time, many people have this experience this symptom of swelling in the feet. Similarly, this also helps people who have excessive mucus or even puffy and watery eyes. Some people have watery eyes. It looks like they're about to cry. They're about to, they'll break down any moment and it's going to cry. You know, so too much water in the eyes. Excessive urination. Similarly, in the case of women, excessive menstrual flow. For all of these symptoms, this mudra can be very beneficial in terms of its impact. So mudra itself is very, very simple. Can you see everybody's thoughts? Now bring the tips of your pinky to the base of the thumb. Okay. And with your thumb, you can slightly press on the pinky if needed to keep the pinky in place. If you remember when we were learning the elemental mudras, I told you, in order to reduce the elemental energy, you have to bring it to the base of the thumb. This is actually one example of that principle that I taught you. Okay, so once again, the pinky is coming to the base of the thumb. The rest of the fingers are straight. Place them over your knees. Okay. Gently close your eyes. As you adopt this Jalodhara Nashaka Mudra and turn your gaze inward, try connect with the water elements energy within you. You experience the water energy within you as emotional energy very frequently. So that's the same water elements energy you are trying to connect with. If you want, you can visualize a crescent moon in sky blue color. This is called Varuna Yantra, and this yantra, this geometric shape, the visualization of this geometric shape also helps you connect with the water energy within you. Let me also share the mantra to balance the water energy within you. Repeat after me silently. Vam. 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 Gently open your eyes, relax your hands. Next one is known as Mahatrika Mudra. Mahatrika Mudra. Okay. Let me show you this mudra. Here again, I'm going to hold my palms parallel to the camera, in front of the camera, but you have to do this facing, fingertips facing downward, pointing downward. So make sure that you bear that in mind. Once again, I'm going to show it like this so that you can see how my fingers are working. Okay. So here you first extend your pinkies and touch their tips. Okay. See, notice all my fingers are spread actually. Okay. So you're touching the tips of the pinkies. Then you bring the tips of the index and the thumb together, like we are doing Chin Mudra or Jnana Mudra. Okay, and touch them. Now you don't let the middle and ring fingers connect. Leave them separate. Okay. Now make sure you hold the mudra. Sorry, I'm trying to hold it a little bit high, so can't do it very easily. But make sure you point it downward. You can hold it as close as possible to the second chakra. Let us say to your abdomen. Okay. Once again, make sure your shoulders are relaxed. There is no need to spread the elbows or the shoulders like this. Matthews, especially, you can relax. Okay. Okay. Completely point them downward. These three fingers, the last three fingers should be completely pointing downward. That's the trick here. Okay. Gently close your eyes. Let us sit in silent meditation with this mudra for some time. You may gently open your eyes. This mudra also has a lot of healing impact on your pelvic region and also useful for women in terms of their menstrual cramping, or it regulates the menstrual cycle and so on. Again, all of these are in the material you can go through. I want to teach you the mudras and practice with you today. Okay. Next one we do is known as the Shakti Mudra. Some of you might know the Sanskrit word Shakti means feminine energy, cosmic feminine energy in general. Okay, so this mudra is about especially feminine energy within us. So let me show you this mudra also. Okay. Once again, hold the palms. Now connect the ring finger and the pinky finger. Okay. Now fold the thumbs into the palm, okay, like this, and place the index and the middle over the thumb. Wrap the thumbs with your index and middle. This is what it should look like. Okay. There is no need to touch this here. Just a little bit of gap is okay. Now once again, hold this near your navel or even lower if possible. Palm, these two fingers pointing downward. Okay. This mudra is very good for maintaining the health of urinary as well as reproductive systems. Okay. Gently close your eyes. Relax your shoulders. As you are holding the mudra, gently bring your awareness to the pelvic region. This mudra serves to balance the energies of both root chakra as well as sacral chakra, the second chakra. You can meditate on either of the chakras with this mudra. As we have already done the meditation on root chakra, I'm going to invite you to meditate on the second chakra with this mudra. So bring your awareness to the genital region. Visualize a lotus flower in orange color with 6 petals in your genital region. And while holding the mudra, please repeat the mantras after me silently. Bam. Bam. Ma. Ya. Ra. La. Continue to hold the mudra and visualize the second chakra as a lotus flower in orange color consisting of 6 petals along the spinal column corresponding to the genital region. Immediately open your eyes. Next one is a little bit of a tricky mudra. This is known as Kilaka mudra. Kilakam in Sanskrit language means the key to a lock, how to unlock the energy within us. So this mudra is very good for emotional support and maintaining emotional balance. Okay. We start by holding our palms like this. Make sure that the backs of the palms are touching. Okay, everybody got it? Tim, looks like you're saying something, but your microphone is muted.
Does it matter which hand is closest towards you?
Generally, I do with the right hand, but I don't think it matters. Actually, right is probably better. Okay. I cannot see, Tim, is your backs of the palms? Yeah, it's the back of the palms that are touching. Now, interlock your pinkies. Okay, is everybody able to do that? Nadia, can you show me? Can you hold up your hands? Okay, that's great. Tim, great. Okay, excellent. Okay, now leave the ring fingers extended straight up as much as you can. It can be a little bit tricky. The next finger is interlocked, but this one is straight. Now you connect the tips of index, middle, and thumb on both palms. Okay, pinkies are intertwined, ring fingers are extended straight up. Okay, rest of the three fingers are folded and connected. Can everyone see? Okay. Now hold it near your heart. Make sure again shoulders are always relaxed. No need to extend the arms or anything like that. Okay. Gently close your eyes. As you are holding the mudra, gently guide your awareness from the crown of the head all the way to the tips of the toes. And visualize the awakening of healing energy within you. And allow yourself to feel healed from within. Health is known as swasthya in Sanskrit language, meaning to be established in oneself. Not in the lower self, but the higher self. The higher self is always perfect, in a state of perfect poise, state of perfect health, so to speak. So to be established in oneself is the highest form of health and well-being we can experience. Allow yourself to feel that perfect sense of health and well-being as you hold this mudra near your heart. Gently open your eyes. Everybody doing okay? Your fingers are okay? If you need to do quick warm-ups and relaxing way, go for it. Okay? This is a very unique mudra. We are doing from the backs, so it's not an easy thing for everybody. All right, let's do one more powerful mudra. This is known as Yoni mudra. Yoni means the creative faculty. Anatomically speaking, it also refers to the female regeneration limbs. So this is about awakening ourselves to the cosmic energies within us, known as Yoni mudra. Okay. For this, we'll start with loosely interlacing the fingers. Now separate your thumbs, if you can show. Extend your thumbs connected. Okay. Now extend your index fingers also and connect them. Rest of the fingers stay interlocked. Okay. Now point it down. Again, I'm trying to show it to the level of the camera here, but you don't need to do that. I'm just showing it to you. Okay. So okay, you can take it as close to the lower abdomen as possible. Relax your shoulders always. No need to do this. Okay. Once again, make sure that your index fingers and thumbs, they are both pointing straight. Okay. So indexes are pointing down, thumbs are pointing up. Okay. Gently close your eyes. This is a very, very cleansing mudra. emotional cleansing, chakra cleansing, balances the apana energy. So let's just do silent meditation with this mudra. Gently open your eyes. Next mudra is Vayu mudra, very simple mudra. Now bring the index finger to the base of the thumb and place the thumb over the index. This again we learned. If you want to reduce the elemental energy, place it at the base of the thumb. Okay, same thing. Okay, now place it over your knees. This is very good for correcting any kind of vata imbalance, especially you are going towards winter time, fall and winter time in UK. A lot of vata imbalance happens. So this mudra is very good for you all to practice. Similarly, any joint related issues, flatulence, bloating, dizziness, sleeplessness, all of these things will benefit from this mudra. Gently close your eyes. Repeat the mantra after me. Yam. 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 Ya. 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 Gently open your eyes. Let's learn one last mudra. This is known as Kali mudra. Earlier we learned about Mahakala mudra. This is kind of like the feminine version of that mudra. Okay. Let's interact, interlock all the fingers in front of the chest. Okay. Make sure that your right pinky is on the outside. Okay, and here your left thumb should be on the outside. So right pinky outside, left thumb outside. Everybody good so far? Okay. Now extend only the ring fingers. Everything else stays same. Okay. Ring finger, Matthew, not index finger. I think that's your index fingers you are extending. Yeah. Okay. Right pinky outside, left thumb outside. I don't know in the camera if it shows you correctly or not. Sometimes camera reverses the right to left and left to right. Rupanji, is that okay? Coming to you? No. First start by interlocking all the fingers. Okay. Now slowly straighten only the left one, left ring finger. Just the ring finger. Nothing else.
Just the left.
No pinky, just the ring finger. Okay. Okay. Now try and join that with the right ring finger. Not index, not middle, just the ring fingers. You need somebody's help there to keep the rest of the fingers down, extend only the ring one. Okay, that's okay. Okay. Jude, can you hold it a little bit closer to the camera so I can see? Yeah, okay, great. Yeah. You can interlock those pinky. Your left pinky seems standing up. Okay, you can interlock that. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah. Actually, Jude has done a great thing, Rupan. You can also press the fingers with your thumb, with your chin. You know, your right pinky is standing. So just press with your chin, like that. Okay, only the ring finger should be standing up. Matthews, can you hold it a little bit closer to the camera? Are those your ring fingers? Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Good. Tim, how's it going? Okay, you got to use your chin also to press down other fingers if they don't listen to you. Nalini, Nalini, can you make sure that those fingers are touching from the bottom to the top? You are holding them like in a triangle shape. Yeah. See if you can make that happen. Okay, not like a triangle, no gap between the fingers, but from the top to bottom, they should be touching. Okay, Jyoti, I cannot see you too far from the camera. Okay, that's great. Nadia, good. Suzanne, okay, awesome. Okay, now place it near the heart comfortably. Again, relax shoulders, no need to spread. Okay. Now what you do, you raise your elbows without raising the shoulders. Raise your elbows so the elbows are parallel to the ground. Not shoulders, elbows. Okay, just the elbows. Shoulders should stay relaxed. Okay, don't do this with the shoulders. Just the elbows should stay parallel to the ground. Okay? Hold the mudra to your heart. Elbows straighten. Okay. Gently close your eyes. Matthews, if the palms can touch, that would be better. Your palms are separated. Palms should touch. The palms should not separate. Jude, if you can also bring the palms together, so the palms are touching. Yeah. Okay. So this is what it should look like. Okay. Gently close your eyes. Kali is the dark goddess in the tantric literature. She destroys fear. Gently relax your hands, open your eyes. I have given one more mudra in the notes that I'm going to send to Ramji. So you learn that mudra from that notes that I'm going to send you. Okay. There is a simple daily routine of mudra practice that you can do. This is just for your general well-being, not for any particular reason. So you begin with Dhyana Mudra. We have learned almost 8 meditation mudras. Any of them, especially Chin Mudra or Bhairava Mudra, very, very beneficial. You start with that. Then you do Vayu Mudra for balancing the air elements energy. All of this is in your presentation. No need to write down. Okay, I'm just giving some explanation, brief explanation for you. Okay, followed by Chin Mudra would be very good. Then Shunya Mudra. All of this we have learned. I'm going to send actually 2 presentations to Ramji this time. So you can look up all the names of all of this. And even this routine is also mentioned there. So don't worry about writing. So just listen to me. And if you have any questions, ask. Okay. Then Prithvi Mudra, Prana Mudra, Apana Mudra. So this is like a series of 7 mudras. They're very basic mudras. But if you practice them consistently, they will have very good healing impact on you. And generally contribute to your state of health and well-being. Again, if you have specific health-related challenges and you want to practice specific mudras, that's fine. These are just for just as a contribution to your general state of health and well-being. So you can do this, if possible, each mudra 10 minutes. Okay, so that makes it totally around 70 minutes. So 1 hour, 10 minutes. Obviously, if you cannot do that, then see how long you can do. Maybe 5 minutes each, maybe 2 minutes each, whatever it is. Try and hold all these mudras for the same length of time. Okay, and also, so even if it is 1 minute, so you have total 7 minutes of mudra practice. But make sure that you do all of them for the same length of time. Don't do one more, one shorter, and stuff like that. Okay, try and keep them all uniform length of time in terms of practice. Again, I've given you some specific mudras for specific issues. As I said, there are hundreds and hundreds of mudras, if not thousands. And there is also slight difference between one tradition to another tradition. So same mudras, somebody else may teach a little bit differently. So please don't get agitated much about that. Don't feel that, oh, this is different from what I learned, etc. So maybe somebody's tradition could be different, or way of practice could be different. Maybe their body allows them to practice like that, whatever may be the reason. That is why in my presentations, I've also included my own pictures doing those mudras. That would be a good idea for you to try and imitate them. And where possible, I've given you contraindications also, meaning when you should not practice those mudras. Okay, all of these things I've given you. Once again, there are in different traditions, there are different mudras. Like we did Yoni Mudra, right? We did Yoni Mudra, very simple version of it actually. But if you go into Sri Vidya, it's a very complicated mudra. Okay? So Sri Vidya Yoni Mudra looks like this. So lots of fingers intertwined against lots of, Susan is laughing, lots of fingers. See, you start like this first, okay? And then you create a cross like this, a square. And then you wrap the fingers like that. And then you extend the rest of the fingers. So this is a little bit complicated mudra. Your fingers can hurt. So it is also called Yoni Mudra. But that is according to Sri Vidya tradition used in Sri Chakra Puja, etc. Sri Yantra Puja and that kind of stuff. So anyway, so let's, this simple mudra that I showed you is very good in terms of yoga practice or yogic version of it. So, but just bear in mind that mudras can be different in different traditions. Also, same mudra may be called by different names in different traditions too, right? This is called Chin Mudra in Vedanta, whereas it becomes air balancing mudra, air elements balancing mudra in yoga, Hatha Yoga. So same mudra, same posture, but different purposes, different intentions, etc. Okay, so please respect all of these things, and I wish you all very, very good practice with the mudras. Okay? These are some basic to intermediate mudras that we have learned, but there are a lot of other mudras which are a little bit advanced and more specific also than what we have done. Hopefully, one of these days we will have we will have the opportunity to do maybe one more workshop where we can practice those mudras. Okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me now.
Is there any the particular time that we should practice the mudra, or is it just early morning?
I already mentioned this in the first session. For any kind of spiritual and energetic practices, there is something known as Brahmi Muhurta. Yeah. That is always recommended as the best time. Brahma Muhurta or Brahmi Muhurta. That is approximately 2 hours before the sunrise till sunrise. That is the time. If you cannot do that, do it whenever you can do. But the important thing is please be consistent and regular with respect to whatever time you practice.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Hi Ram, you did several mudras for balancing emotions. If you are feeling angry, what is the best one? If you're feeling angry, which is the best mudra to resort to balance that and bring you back into a state of peace?
Generally, my recommendation with not only anger, but any kind of negative emotion is this. And this is a very different advice than what you get from most of the teachers. When there is intensity of emotion, it is a good idea not to do any energetic practice, especially anger. Okay. So what I generally recommend, again, this is not the same as most teachers tell you. Most teachers will tell you, okay, do this meditation, do this chanting, this mantra, that mantra. I generally tell people, don't do anything. Okay. because anger is like a weapon. Okay, any negative emotion, even sadness, loneliness, they are very powerful emotions. So when there is like a tsunami of those things going on, nothing you can do, right? And especially if you do any energetic practice such as meditation or mudras, etc., they can sometimes increase that energy even more, because meditation means you are focusing your mind, right? Whatever you focus your mind on, that gets magnified, that gets more intensified. So already I am angry, already I am having this negative emotion. If I meditate on top of that, that becomes even stronger, okay? And that might even be transmitted to whoever I am angry against and can do them some harm. Are you following this logic?
Yes.
Again, many people will give exactly opposite advice. They say, oh, if you're angry, then do this meditation, do this mantra, or do that visualization, blah, blah, blah. My recommendation in general is when the emotion is too intense, let it pass. It's like a tsunami. Don't do anything. Let it pass. Live with it. Work through it. Not avoid it, not suppress it, but work through it. Okay? Time will heal. So eventually it will calm down. When it calms down at least a little bit, then it's okay to do any kind of energetic practice such as mantras or mudras, etc. In general, anger is about, of course, it is an emotion. Not only anger. In fact, there is a category of emotions which are closely related. This is called krodha in Sanskrit language. Krodha. So this krodha includes anger, frustration, disappointment, resentments. Okay, all of these are one category of emotions. Any of these things when you are experiencing, then maybe better to do some water element energy just to balance all the emotions. Okay, and krodha is especially visualized as Agni, fire. Okay, so do remember, with fire we learned only one mudra, how to balance the fire energy. We didn't learn how to increase it or decrease it. So I practice that mudra with my humble opinion. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? But first, let the intensity come down on its own.
Okay, thanks.
All right, if there are no questions, then we'll wrap it up here for today. Ramji, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share some of these mudras with all these wonderful seekers of truth. Thank you very much for all your support and kindness and energy as well as time. Hopefully, we'll have another occasion to come together and learn some more, maybe mudras, maybe something else. Let us see what Ramji has in store for us.
A lovely class once more. So can I just, on behalf of everyone, thank you, Ramji, for a wonderful set of 3 classes. Really and energy level and knowledge that we normally don't get from other teachers. So it's a very rare gift, and thank you for sharing that with us. We hope that you'll join us with the festival in the summer. Those of us who can be there, and it'll be lovely to see you face to face and get more teachings in that manner. So for now, I bring these 3 sessions to a close. Thank you, everyone, for participating. It's been lovely having you, and take care, and we will see you all soon. Thanks very much indeed.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.